Hi guys, welcome back to another movie review by me, Beardo. Today I will be reviewing The Murder on the Orient Express. The movie is directed by Kenneth Branagh, who also stars as Poirot, the chief investigator who is travelling cross country when the murder happens on the Orient Express. At the same time, there's an avalanche in the mountains stopping the train in its tracks, which means that everyone is stranded on the train and he has to figure out who the murderer is before the train docks at the next station.
I am shooketh.
As well as Kenneth Branagh, the film has a big ensemble cast, including Daisy Ridley, Michelle Pfeiffer, Johnny Depp, Olivia Colman, Judi Dench, Penelope Cruz, and quite a few more really. Some of these characters have a lot more to do than others, but the standout for me, and probably most films she's in, is definitely Michelle Pfeiffer. She was fantastic here, and definitely the driving force of the film. The introduction scene at the beginning of the film was just very poor and kind of comical, and it was trying to be a bit funny, but also you're setting up for a thriller, and it just kind of takes away the impact of what you're trying to set up for later on in the film. And then later on in the film, when things are supposed to be thrilling and you're supposed to be really invested in this investigation to find out who the killer is, it just all reads really off the page, boring, melodramatic, and not very exciting at all. Maybe it's character choices taken from the book or previous TV adaptations, but for me it just made the character of Poirot seem like an arrogant twat.
Oh, that was way harsh, Ty.
There were some really cool shots in the film. There's a long shot towards the beginning of the movie when Poirot is walking through the train station. The camera follows him as he's going around all these different people and then onto the train, and he's interacting with other people. That lasted for quite a few minutes, and that was kind of neatly done. And then later on there's a couple of cool shots. There's a bird's eye view one, which I was hoping would be beneficial and seeing the payoff for the murder reveal, but it just didn't really happen, which was a shame. Towards the end of the film there's a few flashback scenes which I thought worked quite nicely, but I don't think there was anything special here to really lift the really bad screenplay. The screenplay just did not work for me. These characters were all really poorly introduced. They were like caricatures. They were really over the top, in your face, and just did not seem like real characters or real people at all. No one was really, I wouldn't say likeable, but you weren't really invested in any of these characters' backstories. You just didn't care. Even the twist at the end, it was quite obvious where this was heading, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I guessed quite early on in the film, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a genius by guessing, these twist endings for these reviews I've done recently, but I think it just goes down to poor writing. You might as well just shove it in my face and be like, hey, this is the twist, but don't tell anyone. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, so. It really frustrated me that Poirot was supposed to be this amazing detective, but unfortunately it just seemed like he was the only one that built himself up. He was just full of himself. His character was annoying. His moustache was annoying. It just looked stupid. It looked over bushy, and the fact that he used parts of his beard to integrate into his moustache, it just looked really stupid, and it really annoyed me. And sometimes it looked like CGI, which I thought was absolutely bizarre. Why the heck would you CGI a moustache on? It's just stupid.
She is a fugly slut.
And I understand he's supposed to be this very clever investigator, but he's not psychic. And there's these scenes at the beginning when someone approaches him with some papers and is like, oh, I know who you are and I know what you're going to give me, and it's about this and it's about that, and you're like, you're not a psychic, so why do you know this information before it's even been told to you? It's just kind of takes away that believability that he has the capability to solve crimes. If you're gonna make your character come up with all these ideas and know things from thin air, then there's no point in him investigating a murder, because he's just gonna draw his own conclusions. I'm sure, as you can tell, I didn't really like the movie. I actually pretty much hated it. which really sucks because I wasn't expecting a massive amount from this film, but I wanted to enjoy it and at least have a good murder mystery presented in front of me, and that just didn't happen at all. Unfortunately, for that reason, I'm only going to give this movie 1 out of 5. If you like watching me have a bit of a bitch fest about films I hate or films I like, then give the film a thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and there will be more videos coming from me soon. Thanks! I just didn't like it. There was even a wig reveal, and who needs a wig reveal? You know, it's not, you're not watching Roxy Andrews, for Christ's sakes. You're watching Murder on the Orient Express. Well, that's what at least you wanted, anyway.